Hi everyone, Christine here. I hope this finds you doing okay, faring well in this current state of chaos that none of us are really sure what we're doing, but we're all hopefully trying to make the best of it. Most importantly, taking care of ourselves and those people surrounding us. So today I chose a different place, not at home. Today I'm at the studio where I do a lot of my teaching called Mindful Body Works. And I am in our lovely studio that we call the Sky Room, simply because we have two beautiful skylights. So luckily it's still light out and you'll be able to see me and hear me, and we're going to get going with our class today. So thank you again, and let's get going. So I'm going to just slide over here, which by the way, this is a wonderful little exercise right here if you want to do something simple if you're playing with your kids, just rolling back and forth. But anyway, that's what we're doing. So we're going to lie down. So I have two mats here crisscross so that at different times I can change my position so you can see me. But at home, obviously, you don't have to do that. So you're going to start just lying down. And sorry, for my props, I have two blocks. If you don't have blocks, that's fine. Use books, or most of what I do today will be fine without blocks. But honestly, if you're practicing yoga on a regular basis, I highly recommend that you do get blocks. They're a worthy investment. So the other thing I have, and if you want to go grab one while we just do a little bit of breathing here, it's just a little hand towel. It can just be any kind. Even a face cloth will do, just something that's going to give your feet some sliding ability, and also to do a little bit of work for us, the back of the knee a little bit later. So I do recommend that you have that by your side. So then you're going to lie down. You're going to lie down with your hips heavy on the floor. Just kind of lift your hips a little bit, move them around, and then settle them down into what you think is a neutral position. Your legs will be bent. And then from here, we're really just going to settle into our body and do a little bit of breathing. So no matter what your day has brought you, in all likelihood there's a little bit of stress in your body, and your mind might be a little bit frazzled. So always using the first few moments of practice just to what I call bring your mind and your body to the same place. So sometimes our physical body is in one location, but our mind is somewhere else. So use that first moment of your practice to bring them together. And you do that by focusing on your breathing. So let's start with a long exhale, emptying the lungs, and then inhaling. I'd like you to place one hand right at the lower belly, the other hand just kind of at the rib cage. And as you exhale, just feel everything emptying out. And then when you inhale, feel it fill up. And then keep going. I'm just going to cue you through a little bit of breathing technique. So next time you inhale, I want you to envision this whole center area, this whole abdominal region. I want you to envision it like a tube or a cylinder or a balloon, anything that makes sense to you. And I want you to think about letting it expand in all directions, up, down, sides, and back. So when you inhale, just feel it expand. And then when you exhale, just feel some of that air come out. But don't overdo it. Don't pull your navel spine, never do that. Just let it be a natural reaction. Just feel that rib cage, that whole abdominal region expand in all directions. And then let it exhale. Keep going. So most of us are more familiar with the sensation of the front of the belly lifting and falling, the chest lifting and falling. What I want you to focus on a little bit more is the sides of the body. Feel that rib cage and this space between the hip bone and the ribs expand. And also the lower back. Let it expand like a cylinder all the way around. So what we call 360 breathing. So just let those muscles relax. If you contract those muscles, they won't move. So let them be soft. And you notice when you're doing this that there are certain parts of the body that expand easily, and some that don't. So just for the next few breaths, you're just going to try to focus on the parts that don't move. And just see if you can get a little bit of movement there, just by directing your mind to that spot. So now from here, we're going to pause. So when our spine is in neutral, there's a little bit of space between the lower back and the floor. So make sure you're in this position, pelvis is neutral. Then we're going to start doing some pelvic tilts. So I like to use the front hip bones as landmarks. And lift these hip bones up towards your belly. Lift them up. You're going to feel your tailbone going the opposite direction, feel your lower back flatten. Then go the other way. Let those front hip bones roll towards your thighs and feel your lower back arch. And I'm going to keep doing this, trying to move with the breath, rocking in one direction and rocking in the other. The hips stay heavy on the floor. They don't lift off the floor. It's really just the pelvis doing what we call anterior and posterior tilts, or pelvic tilting. It is a fundamental movement, and it's been interesting because I didn't do this for many, many years. And then when I started kind of exploring different forms of movement, this came back. And I realized that I had lost a lot of range of motion here. So some of it has come back. This is basic fundamental movement that I feel we should practice every day. Because as you can see here, with the pelvis moving, it affects your spine. So, hip bones in one direction, lower back arch accentuates. It goes in the other direction, lower back flattens. So if we don't have this ability to move the pelvis in a controlled way, then how can we control the spine? Sometimes we want the spine to be extended, sometimes flexed, sometimes neutral, and that's driven by that connection between the pelvis and the lower back. So, if you don't do this, you're having a hard time finding any movement here, just do it more until it starts to kind of loosen up on you. Then you're going to stop here in between. This will be our neutral. Lower back is flat on the floor. So now, all I'm going to ask you to do is keep your lower back in the same position. Don't think about tucking it. Don't think about arching it. Just don't let it lift. So your abdominals are going to engage, but I don't want you to think about the abdominals. I want you to think about your lower back staying put. Then lift one leg off the floor. Flex that foot. Holding it here. Feel what's happening here. A little bit more work. Then you're going to hold it without shifting the pelvis. Other leg goes up. If now you found that something caved in, your pelvis moved, lower your feet and do it again. So reset, reset, neutral. One leg lifts, lower back doesn't change. Other leg lifts, flex the feet. And you're just going to hold this. You're going to hold it. You're going to place your palms of your hands at your knees. And you're going to push the hands into the knees and the knees into the hands. And keep pushing and pulling. Again, watch the temptation for your pelvis to want to tilt. No more tilting. We just want to keep it in neutral. I just want you to feel whatever is going on here in this middle section. You're going to feel something working. Just be aware of it. Don't lose it. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. And just create this push and pull effect. You're going to keep that push and pull effect on one leg. The other hand, you're going to release and you're going to tap that heel to the floor lightly and then bring it back up. Reset that side. Other hand, other foot. Heel drops and heel lifts. Just go back and forth a few times, keeping pressure on one side as the other leg drops. Lift it up. Other hand pushes and knee pulls. Lower and lift. We'll do one more like this. Lower, lift, hand pushes, lower, and lift. Then pause. Final action of pushing the hands, pulling the knees. Notice that the knees are still over your ankles. Flex your feet. So sorry, knees are over the hip joints, holding it here. Then let your hands go. Hands can be wherever you want them to be. And then you're going to do it again. Let that knee just, or the heel just tap and bring it back. Tap, bring it back. We're going to do it 4 more times. If you start to feel that your pelvis rocks, bring your feet back down, reset, and go back up. So there's no point doing this with losing that control in the pelvis and that torso. Holding it still, We're going to lower and lift. Lower and lift. I'm terrible at counting, so this might be the last one. Be aware, keeping that lower back in that same position, slightly off the floor. Just lower it and lift it. Last time. Lower, lift, lower, and lift. Then bring your heels to the floor. Pause. Just rock your pelvis, rolling it out here. Just take a few deep belly breaths. Let your belly really expand, let the side of the body expand, let your lower back expand. If there's any tightness in there, it's your time to let it go. And then from here, you're going to roll to one side. Legs are 90 degrees. Really bring your feet together and knees together, holding it here. And then you're going to lift the feet, feel that internal rotation, and lower them down. Do that a few times. Lift and lower. Just warming up those outer hips. Lift, lower, lift, and lower. Pause here. You straighten the bottom leg, let the top knee move forward. Now imagine that knee and foot is really anchored to the floor, and start to roll your top shoulder back. So the thoracic spine is where the ribs attach, upper thoracic closer to your shoulder blades. And this is an area of perpetual stiffness for many of us, myself included. So I'm just trying to let that top shoulder roll towards the floor. If you have a lot of mobility and it goes to the floor easily, try to hold it a little bit off the floor. So a little bit more active work here. So for someone like me who's tighter there, the work is already there. I want to really push that thoracic spine forward, roll that shoulder back, and just keep my head in line with my shoulders. Just take a few deep breaths here. Again, I want you to really feel the work in that thoracic spine. You can press it forward, a little bit of thoracic extension. Pause here. And then bring it back. Then you're going to roll over to the other side. So excuse my back, but then we'll get to see what my shoulder does on the bottom side. You're going to start again with your legs bent, 90 degrees. Squeeze the knees, then lift the feet, and lower the feet nice and slow. When I lift up, imagine I'm lifting up into resistance, and I'm lowering down into resistance. Just doing a few of these, just waking up those outer glutes, which if you've taken my classes, you know by now. Spend a lot of time on these babies because in most of us, they are weak. Last one, when you lower down, you're going to keep the bottom leg straight, top leg's going to come forward. Hips stay stacked. Then you're going to pause here, and that top shoulder is going to roll back. But don't let that knee lift, otherwise it just becomes a rotation of the torso. I want to keep the bottom part still, and just let that top shoulder move towards the floor. And you can see here, oh, this is don't have the best range here. But this is the thing about yoga and movement, is we move to our ability, and then we stay there. And just through repetition, maybe it'll get better, maybe it won't, but that's not the objective. The objective is just to move into whatever state you're in, and ultimately, when the changes come. Good, and then pause. Bring it back. And just pause here for a moment to see how you feel. So, you're going to hug one thigh to your chest, doesn't matter which one. Hug it in as tight as you can. Tight, tight, tight. Then, can you let your hands go and hold it there? Hold it there. Feel the difference between active, passive. Active, holding it in. Passive, letting your hands do the work. You're going to hold it here. And extend your other leg out. You're going to hold it in. You're going to lift your chin, reach your elbows, and you're going to rock up. Whoa, rock up, round your back, rock up. Straighten out your pelvis, lengthen your spine. Then you're going to start from the pelvic, that pelvic movement we did. You're going to rock the pelvis, try to get your lower back flat on the floor. Come back up. And then rock up, straighten out your spine. Then rock the pelvis and roll back. And then do it one time more, lifting up, and then roll back. Try to get every segment of your spine to touch, lower down. Other side, left foot on the floor, hug that thigh into your chest. Really hug it as much as you can. Again, this is the passive work. Your arms are doing the work. Can you let your hands go and keep hugging it in the same degree? Then, passive, active, passive. Now when you release the hands, you try to hold in the same spot. Then take your hands there, extend your other leg, and then rock up, straighten out your spine, then rock the pelvis to lower down. And then keep going. So for some people, I find this is a really easy movement. It's not for me because my lower back does not round. If it is easy for you, don't use the momentum of the other leg like I have to. Let it be more centered in your torso and less momentum. Last one. This time we're going to stay up. We're going to pause here. Swing the legs around. So your hands are under your shoulders, your hips are over the knees, coming into what I call tabletop, is often also known as quadruped. You're going to pull those front ribs in. So I want you to just feel here how your spine is in exactly the same position that it was in when you were lying down. So front ribs in, pelvis in neutral, and we're just going to do some pelvic tilts here. Sitting bones are going to lift up, and sitting bones are going to drop down. Exactly the same work that you did when you were on the floor. Sitting bones lift, and sitting bones drop. So now we're going to come into a cat-cow, but we're going to do it in what we call a segmented way, which means we're going to drop the sitting bones, keep those sitting bones dropping even more, and try to round only your lower back. Then can you lift and round your lower thoracic, lower ribs, middle thoracic, upper thoracic, tuck the chin. Now you're in a full rounded position, which we call spinal flexion. Then you go the other way, lift your sitting bones up. One segment at a time. Let that lumbar spine drop. Lower thoracic, middle thoracic, breastbone forward, head up. Keep the upper back in an extended position and start to move from the bottom. Lower back, middle back, keep dropping those sitting bones, up you go, chin tucks. Then go the other way, sitting bones lift, one segment. So I'm calling it one segment at a time. Eventually, you want to get to the point where you start to feel maybe one vertebra at a time. Just moving into the sticky parts that don't like to move. And then go the other way. And we'll pause here. And then find your center. Pull those ribs in. So I'll tell you my area of weakness, and I see it in many students, right here. Letting those lower ribs drop, dumping into the lower back. So pull those ribs in. Not the pelvis. Pelvis doesn't move. Just those ribs, holding it here. And I want you to feel like there's a sense of the lower back lengthening. You're going to hold this here, arms are straight. Just hold that here. And all you're going to do is just not let those ribs drop, holding it here. From here, maybe you're going to curl the toes under and lift your knees just an inch. Just an inch. Watch the lower back ribs. They want to drip, they want to drop, hold them in. Pelvis doesn't move. Pelvis is in neutral. Hold, hold, breathe. Don't throw your head back. Gaze to the floor. Hold. And then lower this down. Take your arms forward. Your hips go back, not all the way to child's pose, but just back maybe halfway. Arms are extended. Press those hands into the floor. Arms are active. Elbows off the floor. Lift your fingertips to the ceiling and then lower them down. Lift your fingertips to the ceiling. Lower them down. Lift your fingertips. Now push the palms forward. Push those wrists forward. Make as many wrinkles as you can at the top of the wrists. And then lower them down. 2 more times. Lift, wrist extension. Push those wrists forward. And then lower them down. 1 more time. Lift. This time to lift even more. Keep those palms open. Reach those fingertips towards you. Keep pushing the lower wrist forward. Upper wrist making wrinkles. And then lower down. Sit back. Shake it out. So now we're going to come back to our tabletop position. Draw those front ribs in. Let's try to just move the shoulder blades, squeezing the shoulder blades together and moving the shoulder blades apart. Shoulder blades together, shoulder blades apart. So if you've never done this before, just do the best you can. I am going to do a future class more on upper body. So for today, just pretend. Just pretend. Shoulder blades squeeze together and then move apart. Just do the best you can. At the beginning, you might feel like they're not moving. So we do things like we bend the arms, we hunch. It's just the shoulder blades. Again, don't worry about it today. Just do the best you can. If you've been taking my classes, then you'll know exactly what you're doing. You're going to pause here with those shoulder blades spread across your back, which we call protraction. You're going to hold it here. Left hand, push it down. Push it into the floor. Don't lose anything. Then you extend the left leg. Toes on the ground. Pull those ribs in. The right hand's going to hold those ribs, hug them in, not letting them fall. Then you'll lift that leg up. Hold. Front ribs in. Push that floor away. Hold for 1, 2, 3, the leg a little bit higher, 4, and 5. Bring it down, both hands down. Shake up your left one for a moment, or the one that was on the ground. We'll do the other side. So let's start by squeezing the shoulder blades, moving them apart. Squeeze, press them apart. It's called protraction. Push that right hand down. Feel that shoulder blade secure on your back. Other hand lifts, take it to your rib cage. The forearms, pull the ribs in. Right hand, reach it back. Restore right foot, point the toes back. Try to keep that leg as straight as you can, and then lift it up. Lift it up without lowering those ribs. Take it as high as you can, or keep the toes on the ground. Lift, holding it here. Hold, hold. Maybe the arm can reach. Maybe ribs in. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring it all back in. Curling the toes under, downward facing dog. So for our first downward dog, I'm going to bend the legs, tilt the sitting bones up. Got that pelvic tilt happening, lift those sitting bones up, draw those ribs in, and then send the hips back. Press the thigh bones back, press the shin bones back. Feel the back of the knees open. And then just move your hips from side to side. Should feel really nice. This is your first downward dog of the day. And then we'll come down. And again, we do a little bit more wrist prep. You're going to turn the hands around so the wrists are facing forward, fingertips are facing you. And then we're just going to press the hands into the floor and lift the palms an inch, not even, half an inch. Then lower down. Lift, keep all the joints of the fingers on the floor. Just the palm is lifting. Then lower down. Then lift. Lift a little bit more. Keep the palms on the ground. Can you lift the thumbs? Can you move the thumbs towards the baby finger for a really interesting sensation? Then open them out. Lower them down. Again, lift. Thumbs to baby finger. Open them out. Lower down. And then you're going to lift up. Thumbs lift. Imagine that your hand is a banana peel and you peel it away. One segment at a time. One segment at a time. Whew. Shake it out. And take your palms together. Come a little bit closer. Take your palms together. Reach the elbows out. And now open the palms. Open your palms. I always think this is like a little teepee. Open the palms as much as you can. Elbows out. Open those palms. And then hold. Can you take those fingertips to the floor? Take the fingertips forward. Take the fingertips back up. Palms together and shake it out. So, have your towel. You're just going to roll up your towel. If you don't have a towel, you know what I always say? Pretend. Pretend you do. It's not a very big towel, just a little towel. Then you're going to place that towel at the back of your knee, and you're going to squeeze it like you've never squeezed it before. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Reset that tabletop position, the shoulder blades spread across your back, front ribs in, and then keep that squeeze in the knee, at the back of the knee, and lift that leg, holding that squeeze. Don't be surprised if you go into a cramp. Lift, lift, lift. I'm almost cramping. Hold. Front ribs in. Can you lift a little higher? Can you lift a little higher? This is what I hate about videotaping. It's never as much movement as I think it is in my brain. Lift, lift. You're going to feel your hamstrings and your glutes working on that lifted leg. Hold. Front ribs in. Don't let the ribs collapse. Don't let your torso collapse. Lift. Hold. Can you squeeze a little bit tighter? Can you lift a little higher? Hold. 2 more breaths. Keep lifting, lowering, lifting, lifting, lifting. Phew. And then lower it down. Shake it out. Shake it out. Other side. Take your blanket or your towel, whatever you have. Face cloth, anything. Squeeze. Squeeze. So my foot is lifted, back of my knee is squeezing. And when I teach, I always use this. Imagine you have a walnut back there you're trying to crack. That's how much you're trying to squeeze. So spread those shoulder blades. Draw the front ribs in. Start to lift. Start to lift. Keep squeezing. Keep squeezing. Hold those. Earlier we had the arm there. Imagine that arm is still there. Lifting. 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 Squeezing. Breathing. Holding. Be there wherever you need to be. And then maybe you can get another millimeter out of it. So we call hip extension. See how your bum is turned on? You can't extend the hips without the glutes turning on. So use the glutes. Lift, lift, lift. Keep squeezing the heel. Front ribs in. 2 more breaths. And then slowly release. Remove the towel for now. Lean back. Hands, just do whatever you want with them. Maybe make a fist, make circles, whatever you feel that your hands or your wrists need. That was a little bit too much weight bearing on your wrists. And then we're going to come up onto our knees. So now, from our kneeling position, we're going to do a few pelvic tilts. Same thing you did earlier. Front hip bone going to lift up and back. Front hip bone's going to go down. That's all. And again, feel your lower back change from an arch to a flattened out position. From a posterior, and this is a posterior, an anterior tilt, hip bone's coming forward, hip bone's going back, is a posterior tilt. You're going to hold this. Then we're going to hold that posterior tilt, shift your weight to the left, lift the right knee up, and step it forward, landing lightly. Pausing here in a 90-90 position, so front leg, knee is over the ankle, back leg, hip is over the knee. And make sure you're holding that posterior tilt, front ribs drawing in, extend your arms straight up, extend those arms. So now we're going to come into a little bit of a back bend. We're going to set your thoracic spine, press it forward. Remember earlier we were lying down in our twist? That part of the spine, let your thoracic spine come forward, lift the chest, maybe look up, but don't throw your head back. Keep the back of the neck long. Keep reaching the arms. Side ribs nice and long. Then you're going to lower the arms. You're going to twist to the right. Left hand coming to the outer knee, and then rotate. Again, working through that thoracic spine. Breastbone coming forward and up. And then go as far as you can. I often like to place my hand at my breastbone to take a little bit more work into the center, less into the shoulder. Whatever feels right for you. And then bring that arm forward. You're going to extend those arms once again, straight up. Extend your arms forward. Now I know imagine you had a big beach ball here, and you're hugging that beach ball towards you and rounding your lower back. Lower back ribs lifting up, round the lower back. So I'm not dumping. I'm letting the work happen inside, much more subtle. Lift those back ribs. And then slowly come up, pause in neutral. Then go into that spinal extension with the back bend. Breastbone lifts, arms up. Coming forward, arch, round your back, lift those back ribs. Tuck the chin. And then up you come, holding it here. Curl the toes under the back foot. Keep that left arm reaching up. I want you to feel like your left arm is lengthening the whole left side of the body. Take that right arm forward, take it back around, reach that arm back. Maybe it touches the heel. If it doesn't, just reach it back. But here's the thing. I want you to move that left hip bone forward. Glutes turn on. It should feel very similar to that little lift we did with the towel. Press that hip forward, use your bum. Good, and then slowly bring it back, right leg back. Come back to downward dog, shake it out. Again, just letting your hips move from side to side, pumping your heels. And then we'll bend the legs. Come back to tabletop, then come up to kneeling. Shift your weight into the right leg, lift your left foot, left knee, and bring that leg forward, landing it softly. Hip bones, pelvic tilt. Pull those hip bones up, roll them down. Let's do a few pelvic tilts here. So the interesting thing with body movement is it always feels different when you're lying down, when you're standing up, when you're kneeling. It's the same movement, but it feels different. So if it feels different for you, you're perfectly normal. But it is the same action. So hold that posterior tilt, so your glutes are working. You're gonna hold that here. And extend your arms straight up. Then again, we're gonna find that little back bend. Thoracic spine's gonna come before. It's not a big movement. Lift your chest. So many times this action, for those of us that have a lot of mobility in the lumbar spine, ends up in a dumping. We're gonna think about the back ribs lifting up and try to isolate only the thoracic. Press it forward. Maybe the head can go up, but don't throw it back. Then we'll lower the arms. Twist to the left, right hand to the opposite knee, and then again, you want that thoracic spine to cut forward as you start to rotate. And you get the glutes and that back leg to hold your torso still. And then again, maybe hand coming to the breastbone, try to get more movement in that thoracic, and maybe the arm goes out. And breathing, find that length. And then we'll come forward, both arms up. Reach the arms forward. Again, with that big, massive beach ball, you're letting your upper back round, lower back round. Your body is going to take the shape of that beach ball. Chin tucks. Then start to come through neutral. Reach those arms. Spinal extension. Let the breastbone come forward. Lift up. And then again, arms out. Grab that beach ball. Shape your body over the beach ball. Lift those back ribs. And then slowly come through. Curl the toes under the back foot. Right arm, left arm. So right arm reaches up. Keep that length on the right side. Left arm's going to come around, reach back. If it doesn't touch the foot, absolutely fine. Just keep this work. If it does touch the heel, a little bit of pressure there. But now I want this right hip to come forward. Really bring it forward into hip extension. Remember, the glutes have to be turned on. Keep reaching the breastbone up. Just visiting a little back bend here. Holding, breathing. And then slowly release, hands to the floor, step back. And we'll find ourselves back in downward facing dog. And then you're going to take your blocks towards the front of your mat. You're going to come up. You're going to step the right foot forward. The right foot is between the blocks. The left leg is back. The length of the stride, I don't know, about a leg length or so. Take one hand, just take it across your pelvis, and try to have what we call a level pelvis. So the right side, left side are more or less even. I'm going to bend the front leg. So you might want to adjust your stride here, make it a little bit longer so the front leg can bend pretty much to 90 degrees, holding it here. Now, if I ask you to straighten your legs, I think most of us would just push the knee back. This is probably the action that we would take and make it a leg movement. But what I want you to actually make it is a hip movement. So it's leg bends, outer hip, draw it in. So that hip is pulling back, taking my femur bone with it, bringing the leg straight. Do it again, bend the leg. So, outer hip pulls back, pulls back, pulls back, holding it here. And one more time. Bend, hip pulls in, pull that leg back, pull it back. So now we're going to hold it here. You're going to slide your breastbone forward, take the rounding out of your upper back, and just pause here. If you have the ability to go further, don't drop your upper body, just let your pelvis tilt forward. Just a little hip hinge more into a deeper position, holding it here. And then come back up, step the left leg forward, right leg back. 90 degrees. Then the left hip. So actually do it the way I'm instructing you not to do it, which is just letting that knee move. So, left hip, pull it in. And it's those hip muscles that are helping to pull that hip back, taking the leg with it. Again, bend. Pull that hip in, take it back. And then again, bend, pull the hip in, take it back, and this time we're going to hold it here. Keep pulling that hip in, taking care of your spine. If you find yourself hunched forward, pull that thoracic spine forward, breast going forward, holding it here, breathing. And then we're going to step the right foot forward. And we're going to hang in a forward fold. Bend your legs a little bit. Just hang in a forward fold. Your hands can just rest at the elbow points. And then we're going to come up. When we come up, we're going to start with the pelvis again. Drop those sitting bones around your lower back. So remember the cat-cow. We're trying to move every segment of the spine a little bit at a time. Round up. Round up. Straighten it out. Then we'll go the other way. Drop your chin. Shoulders down. Feel like you're lifting every vertebra up, away from the one below it, as you lower it down. Legs bent slightly, coming down. And then up we go. Good. And then pause. So have your feet pretty much together. Shoulders stacked over the hips. Just want us to come into a hip hinge. So just let your hips come forward and you mount. I just want you to notice that really the movement is happening at the hip creases. Hips are moving. My spine just falls. It's not leaning. I'm trying to resist this. Just trying to hinge my hips forward. Then we take them forward, either palms or fingertips on your blocks, trying to maintain that 90 degree in your body. Pull those ribs in. Press the feet into the floor. Lift the right foot just a tiny bit off the ground. Lift it up. Now can you come up from the pelvis, unhinging up. And then hinge to come down. So the pelvis is moving, that leg is straight, and the leg that's lifted is barely lifted off the floor. Whoa. Not as easy as it should feel. It sounds so simple. Just lift the leg and lift. It's much harder, especially when I'm not concentrating. And then up I come. The floor is there if you need it. So another option here is if you're really having a hard time, is just have the foot be like a little kickstand. Come forward, and then back up. If you can lift it, fine. If you can't, just take more weight into the standing leg. Just get those hamstrings more accustomed to taking weight. Shake it out. Then we'll do the other side. So your feet pretty much together. Come forward, hinging forward. Take your hands to the blocks, palms or fingertips. Other foot's going to lift just a tiny bit. It doesn't move back, it just lifts a tiny bit. Then your pelvis is going to hinge up or unhinge. Then you're going to bring it down. Again, if you're having a hard time, like I seem to be having tonight, just let your foot be a kickstand. Still doing the work. Doing the work in the back line of the body, in those hamstrings. And then come forward, and then up. And then maybe try one without the kickstand, see how that goes. And then come up, and then release. Shake it out. Have your feet about hip distance apart. Bend your legs, hip crease, bend, hip hinge. Let your hips go back, and reach your arms straight up. Holding it here, holding it here. So, I want you to try to feel, can you get those hamstrings in the back to wake up? So we're going to try this. Without letting your hips shift, you're going to stay in this leg position. If you want, you can let your hands rest at your thighs, or you can take your hands wherever you want them to be. You'll lift one leg and lower it down. Lift one other leg and lower it down. Watch the knee may want to turn in. Don't let it. You should feel those hamstrings. When that leg is lifted, you're going to feel those hamstrings on that standing leg. And then other side. You can tell pretty quickly which is your weaker side. Oh, 2 more times. Lift, hamstrings working, and then lower. Hamstrings working, and lower. Slight weight shift, but the hips don't move. They stay right where they need to be. Lift, and then lower. Lift, and then lower down. Shake it out. Come to the front of the mat. Inhale, extend your arms straight up, front ribs in. Exhale, we're going to come to a forward fold, legs slightly bent. Pause here, and then come up part way only. Chest forward, long spine. Set your hands, step the feet back. You're going to pause in plank here. Shoulder blades squeeze together, move apart. Squeeze together, move apart. Drop your knees, and step the right foot forward. Have your blocks. And your blocks, you're going to step them forward of the foot. And then let that knee come forward as far as it can. It's what we call dorsiflexion, when that knee press forward as much as you can. Keep that heel grounded and press that knee forward. Now, as if you had the towel at the back of the knee, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Your hands can just down the blocks, or the hands can lift off the blocks, or you can reach those arms forward. And we'll hold for 5. 1, keep squeezing the back of the knee. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring it back. So now you're going to slide the back leg back. Let that front hip bone come to the floor. Drop it to the floor. Squeeze the bum. Squeeze the bum. Now you're going to squeeze the heel to the bum. Imagine that towel is still there, and you're going to squeeze it in. Squeeze it in. Again, hamstrings might go into a cramp. The right hand's going to come around behind. If the foot is there, touch it. Do not grab it. If it doesn't touch, that's fine. It's actually better. Because the goal here is to squeeze your heel to touch the fingertips. If it touches easily, move the hand away. Give the heel something to chase. You're going to feel something. Then grab the foot. Pull it in with your hand. This is passive. Hold it in. Keep that hip crease forward. Use the bum. Now let the hand go. Can you hold it there? Keep squeezing. 1, 2, squeeze a little bit more. 3, 4, and lower down. Other side. Left leg forward. Have your blocks ahead of you. And let that left knee come forward. As far forward as it can. As far forward as it can. Keep that heel pushing into the ground. Let that knee go forward. Hands either on the blocks. Maybe the hands will lift. Maybe the hands will extend. Hold. 1. Keep squeezing. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring it back. Wash the side of the foot. Slide that right knee back as far as it'll go. And now I want to really send that hip forward. Imagine there's a magnet pulling that hip bone towards the floor. Fire the glutes. Remember, glutes are hip extenders. We're working on hip extension, so we need those glutes to be turned on. Start to lift that heel to the bum. Pull it in. Pull it in. Pull it in. As tight as you can. As tight as you can. Again, you're going to feel the glutes, maybe the hamstrings. Then reach the hand around. Doesn't matter which one. Ending up in the spine. Reach back. Is the heel there? If it is, move your fingers away. If it's not, keep squeezing. If the heel literally is chasing your fingertips. Pull in, pull in, pull in. Feel the front. I always call this iron up hip crease. That's what you're trying to do. Then grab the foot. Pull it in with your hand. Keep the bum working though, because you're going to let go. I'm trying to hold it there. Keep squeezing. Squeeze even more. 1, 2, 3. Can you squeeze a little bit more? 4, and 5. Lower it down. Step that leg back. And then let's just come to a downward dog. hips back, thighs back. Just checking the time here, on me. And then we'll come down onto the knees. Step the right foot forward. Left hip, pull it in. And curl the toes under. Lift that back knee. And then we're going to come up into a little lunge. Now straighten the back leg. You might want to lengthen out your stride a little bit here. Hug that right hip in as we did earlier. And extend those arms straight up. Then I'm going to push that right hip back to straighten my right leg, same way I did earlier. And I'm going to bend that front leg and let that knee come down towards the floor. Then come back up. Just 2 more times. Right hip pulls the femur bone back. And then bend the front. Let that left knee hover. 1 more time. Lift it up. Hip goes back. Outer hip strong. And then forward we go. Let that knee drop. Then bring that knee to the floor. Holding it here. Extend your arms straight up. Let your fingertips slide down your shoulder blades and reach those elbows to the ceiling. Front ribs in. Feel like you're stretching out the armpits. Reach those elbows. Front ribs in. Arms straight. Hands to the floor. Step back. Come back to downward facing dog. And then we'll step the left foot forward, right knee to the floor. So we're going to start more or less in a 90-90 position. Posterior tilt. Reach your arms, or not. Your arms can be lower if that makes it easier for you. Curl those toes under, and then lift that back knee. Just pause here in this hovering position. Extend those arms, and then straighten the front leg. Straighten the back leg, adjust your stride if you need to. And then you're going to bend that front leg, and lower that back knee to a hover. And then pull that hip back, straighten the front leg, and then lower it to a hover. 1 more time. Back, straight, bend, bend. Try to hold that hover as if you really enjoyed it. And then lower down. Release. Extend those arms straight up. Again, fingertips slide down to your shoulder blades and reach those elbows to the ceiling. Front ribs in. Reach, reach. And then arms straight up. Hands to the floor. Step back. Coming back to downward dog. Let your hips kind of sway from side to side. And then find some stillness right in the center. Letting your head be completely heavy. Probably be a bobblehead. Coming back to that even breath. Walk your feet forward, about halfway. Lower down. To your forward fold. Round up. Sitting bones drop. Round up. Round up. Pause. Tuck the chin. Roll down. Roll it down. Feel like you're lifting every vertebra up from the one below it. Good. And then set your hands. So a few options here. I'm going to suggest for most of us we take the feet a little further apart, turn the toes out, heels in. Maybe come down into a squat with your hands on the floor, whatever support you need. Maybe lowering down all the way. That's available to you. Pausing here. Doing that same sensation at the back of the knee, that squeezing together. And then what you notice now, how your knees are over your feet. Just like the dorsiflexion work we did earlier. So if squatting is challenging for you, maybe do some of that isolated work we did earlier. Getting your body parts ready for this kind of work. Then take the hands to the floor, sit down. We're going to sit up, arms extend. We're going to do a roll down, rock from the pelvis, roll it down. Roll it down, let your lower back become a little hammock, holding it here. No, 1 second at a time, and then slowly lower it all the way down. Just pause here, move your hips around, take a few deep breaths. If you find your breathing has become a little bit erratic, try to bring it back to a more neutral. So I'm just checking the time. And we're going to pause here, with our legs bent to start. Squeeze it right by the chest. Pelvis is in neutral. Take that leg straight up. Push that heel to the ceiling. So for some of us, we tend to come right to that 90-degree point, with the legs bent. So I'll just suggest move the leg away from you. Feel that back of the knee open. Then push your heel to the ceiling. Feel this work. Feel this all. I always say make the back of the leg shiny. Push that heel. Then if you can move it closer to you, do that. Holding it here. No hands. Active work. Holding it here. Feel the pelvis, right side, left side, evenly grounded. One option is to stay here, or other leg can extend. But if that happens and something gets thrown off, bring it back. What's happening here in the torso is the most important thing. So let that leg go. Press that heel forward, thigh down, and then that right leg. Push it up, holding it here. Now while you're trying to feel like the hamstrings are going to help you bring that leg down slow. So start to lower that heel, 1 inch, one tiny bit at a time. Try to feel those hamstrings working to slow you down. Nice and slow. Lower it down. Lower it down. Front ribs in. Lower it down to a hover. And then bring that leg back up. Now you're going to externally rotate. So the inner thigh is going to roll out. Notice how my foot's turning, but I'm not moving from the foot, I'm moving from my hip joint, which is what we call external rotation. Then I'm going to lower my leg down. I describe this as, imagine you're pushing a heavy spring to the floor. And then I'm pushing that same spring, or a different spring, to the ceiling. Pause. Neutral. The one that I don't like, internal rotation. It's not a big movement, but it's still a movement. So the inner thigh is rolling forward, internally rotate. Same action. Push that imaginary spring to the floor. And then you're pushing that different spring up. Straighten it out. Action, rotate again. Keep that leg straight. Without letting that left hip lift, without using your hands, take that leg out. Maybe it'll only go 1 inch or 2. Take it to its range, but don't let the left hip get light. Active work. Hold. Hold. That leg might be shaking like mine is. Good. And then bring it back and lower it down. Shake it out. We're getting near the end here. So, other side. Reset. Left leg, straight up. Again, move the leg away from you. Make sure it's straight. Back of the knee is open. Push that heel to the ceiling. And then maybe move it towards you. Maybe, maybe not. Other leg. Maybe it stays straight. Maybe it bends. If you straighten it, it throws everything off here. Don't bother. Push that thigh down. Push that left heel up. And then very slowly, if you're pushing a heavy spring, lower it down. Then slowly bring it back up, nice and slow. Externally rotate. The inner thigh is rolling towards me. Outer thigh rolling away. And then again, lower it down, nice and slow. Bring it back up, internally rotate. Roll that thigh away, inner thigh away from you. And then lower that leg down. Keep that right leg actively reaching out. Holding it nice and even. Controlling the movement, moving with the breath. And slowly bring it back up. Externally rotate. Right hip stays heavy. No using of the hands. Only your own muscle strength. Externally rotate. Rolling that thigh out as far as it can go. Sure, if you were using external help, it would go further. But this is better for your hip joint. Externally rotate. This is the first time you're doing it actively. Observe the difference. And then bring it back in and squeeze your thighs to your chest. Just rocking from side to side, making circles, whatever feels good for you. And then from here, we are just going to come into rest. Feet on the floor, legs bent, knees together, or legs straight. Whatever feels best for you. You want to just let your body be completely heavy here. Arms and legs just falling from the torso, back of the head, heavy on the floor. Start by taking a big inhale through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth. Again, inhale through the nose, feel that whole middle section expand, feel the chest expand, and then exhale through the mouth, and then close your lips lightly and take some rest. So seeing as you're likely in the comfort of your own home, feel free to take your rest as long as you want. If you want to add to your practice and do some other things, you're nice and warm to do that. If you have any questions, please message me, happy to answer. I did a class on Tuesday, I'm doing a class today. I'm going to try to do it on a regular schedule, and if so, just keep an eye on my account, and I will definitely post it. Also, if you have any suggestions, anything you would like me to focus on, happy to do that. So you can tell by today, I focused a lot on hamstrings. Not so much on the stretching, on the strengthening, both. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Take care.